yourself a fantastic morning this morning. And thank you so much for your patience as we got set and ready to go. Here we were up very late doing the NFL draft. And I told everybody the NFL draft wasn't going to end until almost midnight. And I believe it was 11:30 something when I looked at my watch last night and seeing that. I mean, looking at my phone, I should say. The phone has become our watch, has it not? But I did have a watch on, thanks to Jay Cartini. So, had some good stuff going on last night at Pizza Man. Definitely go back and watch the video, folks. If you haven't seen our draft show with Al Romano and myself from Pizza Man Pub, we do it every year on draft night. We do our mock draft, and I don't know Al Romano's list. Al doesn't know my list. We make our list totally separate. We come to the show and we release our picks all the way through the entire first round, leading you to the front door of the NFL draft. And yesterday we did it like seamlessly. I'm super, super happy. God works in awesome ways. And Al and I were doing the show and we got to where we needed to get to the door of the draft. We literally finished our picks at 7:59 and the draft officially started at 8 o'clock. So it was perfect. It was awesome. I had a great night. You should definitely go and check it out. I'll be sharing it again so that you could go back there and watch the video and you could see how I'm doing. Those of you that are on our social media, on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, you have seen this. So this right here is my list. If you're wondering what the three things are in the corner, I said if I was going to be wrong, I didn't put Joey Porter Jr. in the first round, not because he's not talented. I was just looking at positions, individual teams. That's the thing. I'm never looking to, say like, oh, okay, this guy, I mean, like with Will Levis, I just wasn't sold on him as a quarterback. So I wasn't sold on him in the first round. I wasn't sold on his numbers. So I didn't have him here for teams that I thought needed quarterbacks. But if I leave a guy off, it's because what I'm looking at the time of that portion of the draft, this is what I think. This is these are the positions I think these teams are going to take. This is where I think they're going to go. And so Joey Porter Jr. was one of those players that I had off, and Will Levis, and I also had Devin Witherspoon that was off here where I said I could be wrong. The three underneath that is how many times that Al Romano swore during the show yesterday. Only three, so I'm very proud of him. But this is my list, and I stayed true to my entire list. Yeah, I know people do 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 5.0, and so on, 7.0 with their mock drafts. I had given a 1.0, and I said to myself, well, if I change my mind on some things later on in the day, before the draft is done, it's kind of like writing a paper. I can revise it, and then submit it before the draft. And I ended up keeping everything 100% the same. And I'm proud of my picks. I'm proud of Al's picks. And together, I thought we came through pretty darn good on these. And I got the first four picks correct. So I did pick Bryce Young to the Panthers, C.J. Stroud to the Texans, Will Anderson Jr. to the Cardinals, Anthony Richardson to the Colts. And then there's a bunch of other picks here, ones that I got right, or if I didn't have that exact name, I had that position right. So their need of that position, maybe it wasn't that receiver, but it was a receiver. And then, some of my picks went to the team that I thought they would go to, just at a different portion, which happened a couple years ago too. Like I had Philly taking Nolan Smith at 10, Philly took Nolan Smith at 30, which is what Al had. So Al had the pick and the team, I had the team. So there was a bunch of these that came through. Zay Flowers, I said, would go to the Ravens. He did. I said Bijan Robinson would be drafted by the Falcons. He was. So there was a lot of these. And then there was Darnell Wright was taken earlier than we thought. Both of us thought, out of Tennessee, the offensive tackle. So that kind of moves some things around. But we thought that he would go. And so that still had a run on offensive tackles. There was still a run on wide receivers. And Jacksonville still got an offensive tackle. So I said, either offensive tackle or Brian Branch. They were, there was offensive tackles available. Brian Branch was available, and he ended up going with that. So definitely looking at, reflecting on these picks, I'm very happy with how things shook out. So definitely looking forward to breaking that down as we continue on here. We got a lot of show to get into. Very excited for it. Happy Friday. Happy TGIF. people, and I hope you are having yourselves a wonderful, wonderful morning. If you're not, we're going to look to make it better. If you are, we're going to look to make it better. That's how it is. So either way, we're having fun this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, simply by showing up. Just being here with us in the morning means a lot to me. So thank you for that, and for making us part of your week, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So, a lot of stuff to get into, and we're going to start off the show with our trio we have every Friday inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We have the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street, in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. We'll get into that in a moment. Then we'll jump into LEAD. Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver is what the acronym LEAD stands for, that I created with the almighty God back in December of 2019. Can't believe it was almost 4 years ago. But let's keep saying almost. I don't want this year to go by any faster. So God bless it, and may the days be long, fun, and go by slowly in a good way. So, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Chick-fil-A Clay every week, bringing you LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Today we're talking about taking control of that inside voice of yours, that voice you have inside yourself, taking control of that voice. And then we'll get into, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, the top dog of the week will be announced, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the only two places I would suggest to bring your furry-loving friends, and those are both in East Syracuse, down the road from each other, 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse for Canine Camp Dog Daycare, and for the Kampground Dog Boarding on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, across from the BJ's and right off of that main road there. So make sure that you go to Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Let them know the Wake Up Call sent you. Then we'll talk NFL Draft. We talked a little bit about it here. We'll get a little bit deeper into the picks, and we'll put my picks of the first round up against the picks that happen. And then we'll have a very special Dolphin dive. We have continued to underpromise, overdeliver when it comes to our LeMoyne Dolphin coverage. Unprecedented coverage in their history, and the first time the school has ever had an exclusive multimedia marketing partner. And I believe in doing more than what you promise. So where you can, do it. And we were able to do that. We've had plenty of Dolphin dives, and we're diving into the stories of Tom Jarry as well as Peter Hatton of the LeMoyne Dolphins men's tennis team. Today, they are competing at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time down in Flushing, New York at Queens College in the NCAAs. And before that, Tom and Peter will be featured here on Wake Up Call in a picture-in-picture, which I'm really excited about. So, a lot of great stuff coming up. It's time to get into the annoying moment of the week. And for this time, it is about relationships, but not mine. Here we go.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, hanging out here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you know that I love, this is our longest standing segment that we have done on the show ever. This is the segment that has been with me from 12 years ago, and 11 or 12 years ago, and I love it. I love doing it. I have so much fun with it, and Carvel DeWitt, my longest standing partner in business, has been tremendous. And I love that. I love that not only Carvel DeWitt and I have worked together in Carvel, ice cream in general, but that we've worked together for so long. But the fact that the longest standing segment is also connected to that as well. So our longest standing segment, our longest standing partner, bonded together with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So
annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt.
Super appreciative and super grateful for that. And I love it. I love doing the annoying moment of the week. So the annoying moment of the week for me this week, it's actually came from a conversation that I had this week that I know that I've talked about relationships on the show before. This does not have to do with any of my relationships. So I'm sitting here like, woohoo! woo, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So this time is not me. So, but I did have a conversation with somebody yesterday, and we were talking about relationships and whatnot, and dating, and just the craziness of what it is out there now. I mean, it is a battlefield. When people tell you, oh, I think it's a battle. No, it's a battlefield. It's crazy. It's nuts. And wow, there are some people out there they're out there and doing their thing and living their life. And listen, some people make decisions and they say stuff and they do stuff, whatever. But I was having a conversation yesterday with a young lady, and when we were having this conversation, she was talking to me about kind of things that she's been through. And we were discussing some stuff that happened when she was, when she's out there dating. And there's some crazy things that people have said. So one of my annoying moments of the week is she had a guy she had never met. She had talked to, I think she talked to on the phone like a few times, maybe once. And he found out where she was living. Found out where she was working. Sent her a message as if they had been dating for years, or at least months, that he had known her, right? That he knew where she worked and he had picked her up from work before. That's how it presented itself, but he had never seen her in person before. He sent her a message, said, "Hey, I'm on the way to your work. I took some, paid time off, and so I had to take some time off of work to do this. I'm on my way to come and get you. We're going to go stay somewhere. You can stay overnight. Ha ha, you're probably going to have to stay overnight because I'm driving you, and basically how you going to get away." And he laughed when he said it, which made it more terrifying. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I was like, oh, so like you've hung out with this guy? No. So you went on a date with this guy before? No. You've seen this guy in person before? No. And so this person just sent, this is what we're doing. Like, we're going to hang out, and I'm going to come pick you up from your job, and we're going to go to this place that I got for us and be alone, even though you and I have never been on a date before. We have never gone anywhere before. You've never seen me before. I'm coming to your job. I'm coming to pick you up. Like, be ready. Let's go do this thing. And that to me was annoying, because how does somebody do that? And how does somebody know all that information about you? Secondly, it's terrifying. That is downright terrifying that somebody could send that to you and say, hey, I'm coming to your job. Like, I know where you work. I know what you're doing. I'm coming to get you. See you in a little bit. That's scary. Very scary. So apparently that happened to this poor girl, and I felt bad for her. But I mean, absolutely nuts to be in a situation like that. So that's one of my annoying moments of the week. The other one is just, I mean, it's the descriptions that people put out there. There was one, she sent me a screenshot of a description that a guy had put out on a dating app that publicly, openly said, like, he's wearing a shirt that says sugar daddy, and his thing openly says, like, I'm married, but every man needs a little bit more. Any woman should know that, you can't, any woman should know that a good man or a successful man or whatever can't be divided just into one person. A good man deserves to have many women. We can't just have one or two. And that people should know that. And if you don't agree with that and you don't like that, there's something wrong with you. I remember he wrote something like that in his profile. And so, I mean, there's people now openly on dating apps telling people, hey, I'm married or I'm in a relationship, but I want more. And you should be cool with that, and you should come give it to me. And the stuff that people write is just downright insane. It's crazy. And she's telling me all these stories, and I've talked a bunch on this show about it. I have some crazy stories about people that I dated. For some reason, I started dating everyone that was inside of Arkham Asylum for Batman. And, I dated the Scarecrow. I dated the Joker. I dated the Riddler. The Riddler would have been fun. Let's not say that. I dated Two-Face. Definitely dated a bunch of Two-Faces, And they dated the Penguin. And here we are today. But she's telling me these stories last night, and I'm like, this is wild. Good morning to my mom. It is absolutely wild. Some of these stories that these people tell you, and this is coming from, her point of view. And so I'm listening to her kind of tell these stories and how insane these stories have been. And I felt terrible for her. I felt really bad, to go through this. And just like, things that people say and the demands they made. One guy said to this woman, she sent him, this is another guy. He found a bunch of restaurants by her. Now, he didn't know where she lived. So again, he stalked her. He found out where she lived. He found out the restaurants in the area, right? And maybe he thought it was romantic, but it's romantic if someone tells you where they live and then you're like, oh, well, I looked up this place and this place. Are these places good? Like, if somebody tells you where they live and then you do it, that makes sense. But when someone tells you where they live, or doesn't tell you where they live, and you're like, oh, we should go to this place, or we should go to that place, my first question is, how did you know what those places are? Obviously, you looked me up, or else you wouldn't know. So that was a little terrifying for this woman, and I understand why it was. So this guy was like, hey, I think we should go to this place, or this place, or, he was talking about these places, and then she said, well, maybe we could go here, or I guess they were trying to figure out where to go. And then he said, well, the places look expensive. I'm pretty frugal. So he didn't want to go to any of those places. He wanted to go to like a chain restaurant. And then he said to her after that, I'm going to buy you a car. And I'm sitting here going, how does the man that doesn't want to spend 65 to 70 bucks on dinner going to buy you a vehicle? How does that, do people listen to what they say when they say it? Sometimes they don't. But for a man to say, hey, listen, girl, I want to take you out on a date. I like you, but I'm frugal. I'm frugal, right? I don't want to spend $65 on dinner. A couple days later, I'm going to buy you a car. Wait, what? What do you think a car? How much do you think a car is? Are you talking about Micro Machines? Are you talking about Hot Wheels? Because if you're talking about Hot Wheels, what are they, like $5? I don't even know anymore. I think Hot Wheels are cool. You can't get in them unless you're Ant-Man and you can shrink yourself. But that to me was, that's like, are you listening to what you're saying? Are you paying attention to what you're saying? I'm frugal, but I'm going to buy you a car. Then somebody else wrote her a message on a dating app, and he said, hey, whatever, hey, honey, or hey, sweetie, I want to feed you in bed. And it's like I want to feed you. I want to feed you? It's shit. Are people really saying this stuff? I guess they are. I've experienced it from, me experiencing it when you're out there dating women, but she's talking about it from dating men. People are nuts. She was talking about one of her friends. She went on a date with this guy, and apparently this guy was rich, and he's got all this stuff and whatnot. And then he went to a restaurant recently, and he took his shoes off in the restaurant. Just took his shoes off. And I was like, well, maybe he's one of those people that thinks, hey, I'm rich enough that I could do whatever I want. See, some people think, like, I'm gonna be weird, but I'm gonna make it look like I'm different. I'm cultured. I could see him taking his shoes off and her kind of giving him a face and him looking at her going, well, this is what they do in Spain. In Spain, people typically don't wear shoes anywhere. You just take your shoes off and you just live your life. And I believe there was a guy walking his dog in my neighborhood that was walking with no shoes on in my neighborhood. Just straight up walking, no shoes, barefoot, walking down the street. And you could say, well, hey, Dan, maybe he's your neighbor. Maybe he lives next door. Never seen this person before in my life. So, listen, do you? People, this is the thing about society today, is that we've somehow given a get out of jail free card to people that are just mental, right? Some people are just freaking weird. Some people need some help. And there's nothing wrong with needing help and asking for it. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people, in today's world, everything's okay. Everything's allowed. Do whatever you want. We're freewheeling. Just be you. Well, some things are, I want people to be themselves, but there's certain things that are not okay. There's certain things that are slightly terrifying. And then people break it down and say, well, Dan, what's slightly terrifying? Maybe what's slightly terrifying to you is not slightly terrifying to other people. No, I think if you take off your shoes in a restaurant, it's slightly terrifying. I think if a woman knew where I lived and was on her way to my house without me telling her, that's slightly terrifying. Like, there needs to be kind of that base level crazy that we all agree upon. It's called common sense. And my ex-wife told me that there's no such thing as common sense. And she said, everybody has different common sense. And I said, well, honey, that would be called uncommon sense. If everyone had different common sense, it would be uncommon. So it would be uncommon sense. There's certain things that are common, right? You're not supposed to shoot people. You're not supposed to cheat on people. You're not supposed to be in the grocery store and a person turns around and you take their grocery cart of all their stuff in it. You're not supposed to jump out of a plane without a parachute. I mean, there's certain things that we should all know, right? I mean, I think that there's a basis of society. There used to be, but this is how crazy things have gotten. It's my annoying moment of the week because it had to be annoying for her to go through it. There's some stories that I can't even tell you on air because they're just nasty. They're just nasty. Things people say and things people do. But it's like, come on, people. Okay? We're setting the bar really low. And for a guy to say, yeah, I'm married, but every man needs a little something on the side, you know. And let me see here. I'm gonna read you. I have it still. I'm gonna read you what the person said. Okay, this is the dating profile for this person. Every main course is better with something on the side. Don't hate me because I'm hitched. Let's face it, no successful driven man could be happy with just one woman. I'm no different, and I'm tired of being discriminated against for advocating for my own needs. Nuts. If you can't accept this, you are the problem. Move along. But if you're down, I'm not going to read that part, and accept most women are willing to share a successful man, and you're ready and willing to step into my world, let's talk. God bless you, brother. God bless you. Gross. Greg said, happy Friday, DT. Kate Upton's husband pitches today in the Carousel City. That's right. Those Rumble ponies are having a fantastic time today because at, I believe, 1 o'clock they changed the time. So at 1 p.m. Eastern time in Binghamton, New York, for them Rumble ponies, they're going to be featuring Justin Verlander, who will be pitching today in a reassignment as he's coming back up through the minors. So that's some cool stuff. Enjoy that, Greg. And, you know, Greg, I'm going to talk with you off the air. I'll shoot you a message. I got a little idea of maybe something we could do. Greg is an awesome and very loyal listener and, supporter and fan of the show, which I appreciate tremendously. We met through the show. I didn't know Greg before. And so I definitely have, I got an idea, man. And I appreciate you, as you know. So we could talk about it and see if there's something we could do. Because I know Greg's going to be at the game today, which is awesome. Those Rumble ponies, definitely. I mean, that place should be packed. Justin Verlander, are you kidding me? Coming in to Binghamton, New York, that's like a hello. Yeah, boss. I don't feel good right now. I think I gotta go. I think I don't want to get anybody sick, you know. So you definitely, and then you don't take any pictures, but you know, or maybe you do. In today's world, people are so stupid. Do we? I mean, I feel like maybe it's social media. Maybe people were always dumb and now we just know more of it because they write about it. But I mean, there's people that will leave work, lie about it, go somewhere else, and then post it on social media. And your boss is like, are you an idiot? Like, are you that? You cannot be that dumb, right? So, Greg, in your case, if you're leaving, not leaving, wink, wink, wink. If you're leaving work early because you gave your boss a reason, then I'm down with it, right? I'm cool. Listen, your boss should let you go. That's how I look at it. Your boss should be like, hey, Justin Verlander's in town. It's a nice day. Go enjoy it, okay? If you do your work well, right? If you're a good student in school, your teachers let you have a little bit more slack, a little bit more leeway. I had a full beard. There was a kid that got in trouble a bunch. He had a little bit of a mustache. He got a detention. I had a full beard. And they're all like standing with this vice principal. I'll never forget this. It was in the cafeteria at Christian Brothers Academy. And I'm in the cafeteria. They're in the cafeteria. This kid got in trouble. He hung out with the knuckleheads. And so the knuckleheads are around the vice principal. And they're all talking. And he looks at him and he goes, hey, George, he said, why don't you go and grab grab a razor. I think he had like razors and shaving cream in his office or something like that. He said, why don't you grab a razor and shaving cream, shave that off, and by the way, you have a detention. And he goes, are you serious? He goes, look at Danny. He's like, Danny has like a full beard. And the vice principal looked at me and he goes, oh, I didn't see you there. What's up, Dan? And then he walked away because I never got in trouble. I never bothered anybody. I never did anything in school that would make, the teachers and the administration be like, oh my gosh, this kid's a nuisance. I pride myself on being a good kid. I'm not perfect at all. I just pride myself on being a good kid, being a respectful kid. And so I didn't get in trouble. And so I had a full-on beard. He had a little tiny, like, comeback of a mustache, and he got detention, and I didn't get anything, which is really cool. But again, when you're nice to people and you're not a pain in the tush, you get a little bit of slack here. So hopefully your boss gave you a little bit of slack, and if they didn't, then when I said Greg, I meant Steve. And so Steve, I hope you have a fun time at the game today. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. The annoying moment of the week. This time was about dating, but not my dating. Somebody else who decided to send me screenshots and tell me stories. One of them made me want to throw up. I'm not going to share it with you because nobody deserves to hear that, and I don't deserve to hear it twice. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. Head out to Carvel, DeWitt today and every day. Don't let the cold weather fool you. Whether it's cold, warm, rain, sun, whatever it may be, the Carvel DeWitt wonderful franchise of Carvel is the longest standing Carvel franchise in America. And it is right there for you of over 60 years on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. And as promised, my Sunday is coming to you, and I'm so excited to unveil that. We were going to unveil it last week, and my dad was out of town, and I wanted my pop to be here. So we're going to be unveiling it, and I'm excited to share it with you. Perfect timing as the weather is getting warmer and the sun is shining. Perfect for what's coming. We'll talk about that very soon. We'll be taking a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and when we come back around, you will hear from the segment Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, bringing it to you proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cabal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing. called Life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we are now ready to go inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you the list of topics for this show every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Bringing you the annoying moment of the week to start off every Friday, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. And now time to get into lead. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is what the acronym stands for. Proudly presented by the wonderful team led by Jim Sikowski at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today's topic, take control of your inside voice. Some people might say, Dan, did you mean inner voice? Whatever you want to call it, okay? Inside voice, inner voice, that voice that lives inside of you. You, I mean, it's you, it's your voice, but some of us have control of it and some of us don't. So take control of your inside voice. That is the topic for today because it's ever important to do, right? We need to be in control of that voice inside of us because if we're not, then that voice controls us, and that's not healthy, and it's not good, it's not safe, it's not positive. It's not something that I want for anybody. Our inside voice should be something that we have control over, and that doesn't always happen. Now, that inside voice, folks, is the thing that is constantly there, either saying nice things to you or not saying nice things to you. And that voice is affected by what other people say. When you're growing up as a kid, you don't know. You know what I mean? When you're growing up as a kid, you have that innocence. And I feel like in life, we kind of chase that innocence later on in life, right? We try to keep that innocence. You want to have that innocence. And I understand. I get it, right? Because when we're a kid, we're not thinking about what other people think of us. We're not worried about this, that, and the other. Does my shirt look okay? And this. I mean, we can learn a lot from children because children don't care about that stuff, right? Children, they want to play with people in the sandbox. They don't care what color they are, where they came from, how much money they have. They just want to play in the sandbox with somebody, And when you're a kid, you're just living, right? You're just living day to day. You're just out there doing fun things, trying to be around, nice people, playing, having a good time, smiling, laughing. That's all. When you remember your childhood, I hope you remember moments like that, right? When you're little, right? And if you're older now and sad, somewhere along the way, you lost control of that inside voice. Because I'm not saying life is easy as you get older. It's quite the opposite. But that inner voice of yours should be working in your favor. And if it's not, then you somewhere along the way, and this is where we have to be honest with ourselves, you somewhere along the way have lost yourself a bit. You lost yourself somewhere. And it happens, right? It happens to all of us. I think at some point we all kind of feel like we've lost ourselves a little bit. And you got to admit it because what do they say? The first step when there's a problem is admitting that there is one. So you have to admit, okay, you know what? I kind of lost myself along the way. I kind of lost control of this inner voice of mine. So what am I going to do about it? Right? How am I going to fix this? Because people that live in denial stay in denial and then their life just continues to tick by. Time doesn't stop for anybody. Okay? It doesn't. And when you realize that time is not stopping, life is moving on. Right? It's a harsh reality. You get sick. You're laying there in bed. You feel like crud. And the world keeps on moving. And your friends are going to parties and people are doing stuff. And you're sitting here going, well, why didn't the world stop? I'm sick. Well, because life goes on. Life continues to go on. And it's that harsh reality that we all come to at some point, is realizing that life endures. Whether or not we're living, life is going to keep on keeping on. And it might not be something that you want to hear, but it's something that you need to hear because that's what it is. And it behooves us to realize that if you feel like somewhere within this world you've lost yourself a bit, that it's not impossible to find yourself. You just have to be willing to go looking, right? And when you go looking for yourself, that inside voice is going to either lead you to you or it's going to lead you astray. And you have to get control of that inner voice. How do we lose control of our inner voice? Well, it typically comes from listening to people that are seeking to destroy us. You know, that's commonly how you lose your inner voice. Is you lose control of your inner voice. You hear what other people say about you, and then that becomes what you say about yourself. That becomes your inner voice. You have to be like plexiglass, right? Something can hit you, but it's got to stop and not come in. It can knock against you, maybe scrape along it for a second, but it's not getting in. And you have to treat your life like plexiglass. You know, some people say, you know, bounce off, you know, you have to let things bounce off of you, right? So, you know, you have to be like this fluid thing that can just kind of knock things back. And I mean, it really comes down to in life, what are we listening to? And what are we allowing into us? Because your inner voice, that inside voice of yours, it is a culmination, it is a combination of your voice and whatever other voices you let speak in your life that tell you who you are. And I've been there. And I believe many of us have. We've been there, right? We've been in a place where somebody said something about us and it stuck with us. And it made us feel bad. And then we started to believe it. And then we started to say, this is who we are. And then we walked around thinking this is who we are. And that person might have forgotten what they said. I remember this girl and I broke up years and years ago, over 10 years ago. And I remember a couple of years after we broke up, she apologized to me. She wrote me a Facebook message privately. And I said, if you're going to apologize to me, at least call me. Like, let me hear your voice. Don't just text me a message. And so she called and we talked. And I told her the things that she said to me that were crazy to me and strange and they hurt me. And she's like, I don't even remember saying any of that stuff. And I'm sitting here going like, that stuff made me so mad. I told my friends, I told my parents, I told my grandparents. It just, you know, bothering me. She didn't even remember she said it. So, you know, you think about that. People that are hurting other people, you know, sometimes they're not even paying attention. Sometimes they don't care. Sometimes it's both. Right? And I mean, there's people that have done things to me that to this day never apologized. And these are things that I couldn't even fathom, dream up in my wildest crazy, I can't even say dreams. I wouldn't even think about in my wildest nightmares. I would have never thought of them, but they did them. Never apologized. Walked away. And so that inside voice of yours, you have to remember the voices that you're letting come in that are becoming part of your voice. You have to remember that those voices have probably moved on to bother somebody else. They probably don't even remember. The thing that hurt you so much that they said, they might deny it. They might not even remember that they said it. They might not care. You know, your inside voice, that's you. That's you talking to you. It should always be positive. I'm not saying it needs to be a yes man or a yes woman, but I'm saying it's got to be positive. My inner voice doesn't say, Dan, you're right all the time. My inner voice says, Dan, I love you. Dan, I appreciate you. Don't you dare be anybody else but yourself. And this is what I want to work on today. And this is what I think you did well. But if you don't have a strong inside voice, you're going to constantly be changing like a chameleon because you're not going to know who you are. So taking control of that inside voice, it's not an option, it's the option. If you want to be happy in life and you want to be healthy and you want to be truly, you know, moving forward, you have to take control of your inside voice. You have to. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to take control of that for you. And sometimes it's a parent that was very abusive. Sometimes it's an uncle or an aunt. Sometimes it's a former best friend. Sometimes it's an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend or an ex-husband or an ex-wife. Sometimes it's a total stranger from social media. But people are going to say things that hurt you. They're going to say things that hurt you. They're going to say things that make you feel bad. People are not always going to be nice to you. They're not always going to be kind to you. They're not always going to respect you. They're not always going to want good for you. They're not always going to like you. They're not always going to be supportive and want to see things work out for you. That is reality, folks. That is a harsh reality of life. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to appreciate you. Not everyone's going to respect you. Not everyone's going to support you. And you could say to yourself, well, what if I'm nice to everybody? It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean stop being nice. That's not what I'm saying. It just doesn't matter with some people how nice you are. I had this conversation with my mom this week. I said, Mom, I am nice. I'm 37 years old. I called my mom. I said, am I doing something wrong? I'm nice to all these people in the same line of work. I treat them all the same way. I respect them all. I call them all. I reach out to them all. I'm positive with them all. I shake all their hands. I give them all hugs. I look them in the eye. I'm nice to every single one of them. And now 4 of them don't get back to me, don't give me don't get in touch with me, ignore me, treat me like dirt, and or that not even treat me like dirt, just treat me like I'm not important. So what do I do with that? My mom said, honey, not everybody's the same. I said, but Mom, I'm treating everybody the same. She said, it doesn't matter. That's how you're treating them. Doesn't mean that's how they're going to treat you. And my mom and dad have told me my whole life, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. And it's a hard thing not to do when somebody's mean to you, right? We all take it personal at some point because, yeah, that person might have just found out like their mom has cancer, right? And they just lash out at everybody and they're just mean to everybody. And if you knew that that's why they were upset, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like, let me give you a hug. Let me be there for you, right? But it's like hugging a porcupine. I mean, I know my mom had a friend who was like really self-conscious. And I don't even want to call her a friend. My mom had a colleague who was really self-conscious. And my mom talked her through all this stuff. This person cried on the phone with her, nervous, sad, upset, depressed, down. My mom helped her. And when this woman got to a place where she felt good about herself, she treated my mom like crap again. Like my mom never helped her. Like my mom was never there for her. Like my mom didn't see her weaknesses. And my mom never exploited her weaknesses. She was there for this woman. And yet this woman just disrespected her over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But yet, when she needed a friend, my mom stepped up. Can this woman say that anybody else stepped up like my mom? Probably not, because my mom's very unique in how she steps up for people. But think about that. You're there for someone over and over again, and they have no respect for you after everything you've done. So I called my mom this week. I said, Ma, how come I talk to this person, I treat them all the same? But now this person doesn't return my phone calls. This person gives me an attitude. This person talked behind my back. This person said, call me until I call you back. And I don't like doing that. And they haven't called me back. And when I saw, like the last time I saw them, I tried to like be nice about something, this and that. I was like, oh, can we do this and that? They're like, no. You're just rude. Just disrespectful. And I said, well, Mom, I treat them all the same. What am I supposed to do? She said, nothing. It says nothing about you. And that's what we don't understand. And I don't understand a lot of the time is how people treat us. A lot of the times it says nothing about you and everything about them. Right? Now, if you did something really bad to somebody, maybe it says something about you. Right? Maybe you were dating someone and things were great and then you cheated on them and now they're just like really short with you and they're really snippy because underneath everything they're hurt. So maybe that was you, right? And other times when you did nothing. See, but in this world, everybody's guilty until proven innocent. It flipped. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Now you're guilty until proven innocent, depending on who you are. It's always depending on who you are. In society, in America today, men are wrong all the time, and I can't figure out why. But, and that's not my feeling, that's just the way that it feels. I was told by a deputy sheriff, he said, "It is the 21st century in America. I feel bad for you as a man." That's what he said to me. And I was like, wow. He's like, "I'm going to be blunt with you." He said a bunch of things. And I just stood there. And I was like, I can't even believe this. I can't believe any of this. But I knew it was true, but I didn't want to believe it. And so you have to have control of your inside voice. Because sometimes you're going to be grouped, right? I'm Italian and Hispanic. People have grouped me before. People have grouped me in front of me without them even knowing that they grouped me. Because somebody didn't know I was Hispanic. They said a lot of things about Hispanic people. I sat and I listened. He had no idea. And then he apologized after the fact. And I said, "Don't apologize. You meant what you said. You just didn't know the company that you were keeping." So people are going to group you. They're going to group you by your nationality. They're going to group you by your money. They're going to group you by your family. They're going to group you by your profession. They're going to group you by what you look like, what you sound like. People are going to group you. It's just how it is. It's what people do. It's ridiculous. It's a terrible part of society, but it's what people do. And if you don't know who you are and that inside voice isn't working in your favor, you're going to lose yourself. I've lost myself. I think we all have. At some point, you lose yourself. Right? I remember when I just said that, I had something appear to me exactly when I said that. I know when I lost myself. I know one moment clearly in my life when I totally felt like I had lost me. And there's beauty in that when you realize it and you find yourself, there's the beauty of the comeback. But that inside voice, you have to talk, essentially you have to talk to yourself every day. And my grandmother always said you could talk to yourself as long as nobody answers you. That's what she said to me. But love you, G Mama, up in heaven. And Gammy. Love you both. You have to talk things through with yourself. I'm not saying you got to talk out loud and look like a crazy person. I'm not saying develop another personality, which some of you have done very well. What I'm saying is have that dialogue with yourself, right? Look in the mirror, talk, pray. You know, when I pray, I'm talking to me and I'm talking to God. And because I'm kind of like working things out, right? So I'm talking things through. There's nothing wrong with that. Every day you should check in with yourself because you are a plant. Without proper watering and sunlight, you will wither. You are a plant. You need to grow. You cannot grow without proper care. You know, people think, oh, I'm in this relationship. I got this beautiful person in my life. This is awesome. I got this handsome person in my life. This is great. But then they don't try. You can't just, you know, if you say, "Hey, would you be my girlfriend?" and they say yes, you don't stop trying. You don't stop buying them flowers or telling them that they're pretty if you believe that, and, you know, sitting with them and having dinner with them and holding hands with them. One of the things that I knew was the end of my relationship with my ex-wife, I tried to hold her hand one day when I didn't want to, but I was trying to be the bigger person, and I was trying to do everything I could to keep us together. And I reached out to hold her hand. And I looked down at her hand in the car while I was holding her hand, and you know what I thought to myself? And it was really sad. I thought, I don't remember the last time I held her hand. I couldn't remember the last time I had held my wife's hand. In my head, I remember being in my car, I looked down at the console where I was holding her hand, and I looked at our hands and I said, has it been a year since we've held hands? And to me, I was like, it's not good, right? So you have to check in with yourself, right? You have to talk things through because your inside voice is constantly hearing everything. Your inside voice is hearing what Alexa and your Google home devices are saying. It's hearing all this stuff in music. You're a sponge. What you watch on TV, like people say, you become a combination of what you expose yourself to. And so I think there's a lot of truth in that. So who you hang around, what you talk about, what you watch, what you listen to, it all becomes, it's in there. It's all voices in there, right? You know, they say that like girls growing up think that they have to have this certain figure, which is almost impossible to keep up forever. But why do they think that? Because they looked at the magazine. Because they looked at the front of a comic book. You know, they looked at something. If they had never looked at that stuff, then they wouldn't know, well, that's the thing that I'm supposed to be, according to whoever. So your inside voice is the voice that you have to trust. It's the voice that tells you, I'm tired, I need to rest. It's the voice that tells you, shake it off. It's the voice that says, you know who you are. You know you didn't do anything wrong. Keep walking. Because in those cases with those people like I was talking about, I know I didn't do anything wrong. I know that. Because if I did, I would have apologized. So I know that I didn't do anything wrong. I knew that. But inside of me, I was saying, yeah, but I must have. Yeah, but I must have. I must have. Because they got control of my inner voice. They got control of my inside voice. They treated me like garbage, pushed me to the side, didn't keep their word, made me feel like I was unimportant. So then I told myself I was unimportant and that I must have done something to not be important. I must have bothered them in some way. I must have pissed them off. I must deserve this ill treatment. But I know I didn't do anything. And if I had done anything, I apologize. I remember with one person, I was late. I was like 10 minutes late. I apologized. It was like 10, maybe I was 15 minutes late. And I apologized. I apologized multiple times. I apologized when I got there. I apologized when I left. I apologized in the middle multiple times. Now, if you want to drag me through the coals and make me feel like garbage over and over and over and over and over again, that's up to you. But I apologized. And that person never gave me another opportunity to sit down with them since then. When they said, oh yeah, we would, don't worry, it's okay. Okay. Well, if it's okay, then let me do it again. But see, my inner voice says to me, don't be late. Be on time. Don't put yourself in a position for somebody to have a reason to be upset with you. Remember that. Remember that. But beyond that, the other people did nothing, did nothing, did nothing. At all. I didn't do anything. And so your inside voice, your inner voice, has to be able to sit there with you and talk, when you talk things through with yourself and have that conversation of knowing who you are and knowing what you stand for and what you're about. Because if you know who you are, you know when to apologize, and you know respectfully when not to apologize. And you begin to realize in your life, I don't need this, right? I don't need the grief. And I feel bad because I know how much it hurts me. So, I could sense how much it would hurt you when someone just switches on you. But people have done that all my life. People switch on you. If you're a good person, you're good to people, you form friendships, you care about people, somebody's going to switch on you. Someone's going to just wake up and be different. They're not going to tell you why. And you could sit here and you could try and figure it out. And you could talk it through. And you could apologize where you need to. But where you don't need to, you shouldn't do it. I had a friendship where every time he hurt me, I apologized. Because he wouldn't talk to me until I apologized. And he would do things to me that were really rude and mean and made me feel worthless. And we wouldn't talk until I apologized to him. And then I stopped apologizing. I stopped cleaning up his messes, and we stopped talking. And eventually, called me back later in life. But through that process, you have to know who you are and you have to love who you are. And that inner voice has to be in your control for you to have that true knowledge and wisdom of who you are. You have to be able to look at two people, both treating you like garbage, and say, I did nothing to this person, I don't deserve it, and I'm not going to take it. And I did make a mistake with this person, and I still don't deserve to be treated like this, but I understand that I have to say I'm sorry here. None of us are perfect. We make mistakes. The important thing is to not make the same mistakes over and over again, because that's a habit. And if you create a habit, after 3 weeks, it becomes a lifestyle. So I had a woman who did some things that I would never do in a relationship, and she did them to me. And I'll never forget, Rob Drummond, one of my best friends, said to me, he said, he actually think he posted it, and we talked about it. He said, the first time is a mistake, the second time is a habit, the third time is who they are. And there's some people out there that are very successful in life, but they treat me like I'm nothing. And I'm only going to reach out to you so many times, but I'm not going to disrespect myself. And to look in your eyes, like when you finally do call me and we do get together, I mean, is that really what I want? I want to have coffee with someone who's looking at me going, I treated this person like dirt and they chased after me. Like I got control over them. They have no choice but to want to be around me. No. You will never get to dictate my decisions, my actions, and my words. And the only way that that's possible is if you control your inner voice. And if you need help with that, reach out to me. Reach out to a therapist. Reach out to God. Reach out to people in your life that love you dearly. Pray. Talk to yourself. Talk in the mirror. Talk out loud. Talk when you're cooking. Work things out. 99.9% of the time when I'm giving advice to somebody else, it's when I finally listen to myself. So, if you want control of your inside voice, you have to seek control of it. Or it will control you, it will consume you, and it will defeat you if you let it. Your inside voice should always be your biggest fan. Doesn't mean it doesn't constructively criticize. Doesn't mean it doesn't try to work things out, and it doesn't mean it thinks you're right all the time. But it loves you. It says, hey, Dan, you were late. You made a mistake. You're not going to do it again. But that person doesn't deserve to treat you like that. So yeah, you made a mistake. And now they're purposefully not getting back to you. So, things happen in life. And there's a difference between a habit, a lifestyle, and a mistake. And you have to choose who you are. And your voice inside of you has to tell you who you are in those deepest, darkest times. If your voice is working against you, you fall deeper into that black hole. But the thing that takes you out of that black hole is God and that voice. That voice saying, blank, whatever your name is, I know who you are. I know you don't deserve this. I know you didn't do anything. I had a best friend walk out of my life. I gave him 12 years of my life. He said and did things to me that I wouldn't even have imagined doing to anybody in my life. He made up a song about me, swearing about me and calling me names. Sang it with another guy that we lived with in front of me. I was sitting in the back seat of his car. I wanted to open the door and roll out into traffic. I wanted to grab my bags and go to the airport. I didn't even want to look at them for the rest of my life after hearing that. I would never even fathom of making up a song about somebody, let alone somebody that I love, defaming them, defacing them, degrading them, laughing about it, and being excited to share it. And when that person didn't like the song, telling them that there's something wrong with them, that they're being weird. Why can't they take the joke? And I stayed friends with him through that. He walked out of my life after lying to my face. But I know who I am. And I know what I deserve. And as hard as it is to give someone 12 years of your life and have them walk out, the harder thing would be keeping them in my life, letting them disrespect me, and not treating myself with kindness or respect and believing the things that they said to me are true. Nobody wants to be alone, but you are the company you keep. And sometimes it's better to be alone than to be in bad company. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we'll be back after this. This has been Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Head out to Chick-fil-A Cicero on 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York, and to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Both of them off of major highways, very easy to find, and I hope you head over there today. Get that spicy chicken deluxe. So good. Or the chicken nuggets. Those are my favorite. So I either get the chicken, like I either get like the 8-piece chicken, or what is it, like 8 to 10 piece chicken? I either get those, or I either get the little chicken pieces, or I get the spicy chicken deluxe. One of the two. And they're fantastic. Lately I've been getting the grilled chicken club with the bacon on it, and that's c'est magnifique. So go out to Chick-fil-A today, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Chick-fil-A Clay. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you, and we appreciate you as always. And if you're up in the North Country in Watertown, we proudly work with Chick-fil-A Watertown. Head up there and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you as well. To all my people in Fort Drum, much love, and thank you for protecting us and protecting our freedoms. And God bless you all. We'll take a step aside and be back right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Today is the last day that you're going to hear me say Cafe Kubal studios, and we are excited to have a new studio partner coming up here very soon. So, with that being said, inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. You heard that. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay bringing you lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Coming to you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And now it's time for the top dog of the week, which I'm always excited to bring to you. The top dog of the week, proudly presented by the fantastic people at K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse. Make sure you make your way out there. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you, and we appreciate it so very much. You will not be disappointed. A wonderful place to bring your furry-loving friends that are members of your family.
What's up, everybody? This is Dan Tortora back here where sports...
And that was me talking with Lily. So that was it. You're going to hear me do something with Lily there, so apologize on that. But the top dog of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful, wonderful people at K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I am more than happy to bringing you the top dog of the week every single week, where we get to honor an individual or we get to honor an organization, or someone gets to have that spotlight in a positive way. And I always look forward to bringing that to you and having that here with you. So thank you, Miss Lily. With that being said, my top dog of the week so far, we're going to head to the NFL draft for my top dogs. So with that being said, top dog of the week, I'm going to give a shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's right, my Jaguars. And I'm not just doing it to do it, I'm doing it because of what they did. The Jacksonville Jaguars had the 24th overall pick in the first round. I said they needed an offensive tackle very badly. They needed an offensive tackle before Cam Robinson got in trouble. Then Cam Robinson got in trouble. So with Cam Robinson in trouble and Juwan Taylor, who I'm totally fine with them not... And listen, I've interviewed Juwan, and I liked having Juwan on my show. As somebody of signing a contract past the rookie contract, I didn't think the Jaguars needed to do that. I didn't think it was the right decision to make for the future of the team. And now Cam Robinson, speaking of the future of the team, Cam Robinson is going to be suspended to start this season for violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. The amount of games is not yet known, so it could be 2, it could be 4, it could be 6, it could be 8 that he'll be suspended for. So Cam Robinson, who is in a situation where he's now going to miss games, and he's missed games like every season. He's been injured pretty much almost every single, in recent history, almost every single year. He has not played a full season. And now he's not going to play a full season because he broke the performance-enhancing drug policy of the NFL. So now he's going to be suspended. And so they need help on both ends of the line. They need help at offensive tackle, at left tackle, and at right tackle. Now, Walker Little, bless him. So happy to have him on the team. He stepped up big last year. I'm really happy he did. Papa Joe's high on him. And I'm really happy to know that he is a Jaguar. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, I said over and over and over again for weeks, they need to draft an offensive lineman. And then I heard about safety Brian Branch could be there from Alabama. And I said, okay, well, if he's there, then they could look at bringing him in. So I said the only conversation that I will enter into to openly have dialogue about taking anything other than an offensive tackle would be Brian Branch. But I mean, they needed an offensive tackle more than anything else, in my opinion, in this year's draft. And that's exactly what they took. But they took it by trading down. So the Jacksonville Jaguars had the 24th overall pick. They traded it to the Giants for the 25th pick, the 160th pick, and the 240th pick. So they got 3 picks for their 24th pick. And then they traded again to the Bills for the 25th pick, and they went down to the 27th and the 100, and they gained the 130th pick. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, who needed an offensive tackle, still got an offensive tackle at 27, still got somebody there, and Anton Harrison was ranked higher than Matt Bergeron, so I can understand what they did. Still got an offensive tackle, still got one of the top 10 ones ranked in the country coming out of Oklahoma. Plus they got pick 160, pick 240, and pick 130. So they gained 3 picks, still got what they needed, and that's why they're the top dogs of the week. And I would say the Jets, but I've talked about it a bunch, that the Jets, with the Aaron Rodgers trade, they're the top dogs of the week as well, because they made a trade that worked upon worked upon worked upon worked upon worked. They got him that at the time his contract balloons. By the time his contract's done, they will still not be in a situation where they have to pay these rookies that, like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner and Jermaine Johnson II and Breece Hall. Those guys will still be under contract when Aaron Rodgers is done. So they're not going to have to choose between the two when it comes to salary cap. Beyond that, you get Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl champion and MVP. You get to stay in the first round and in the second round and pick in virtually the exact same place. How do you lose? So the timing of it is right. You're not going to have to worry about choosing between him and the rookie contracts, which is part of the timing of it. You get a Super Bowl caliber guy. Plus, you get to draft in the first and second round. So you give up some capital, but you still get to stay in the first round, and you get to stay in the second round. So, and they've drafted well the last couple drafts. So to me, the Jets, top dogs of the week because of the Aaron Rodgers trade. And the Jaguars, top dogs of the week because of the trade that they made on draft night, where they moved down 3 spots, gained 3 picks, and still got what they needed. And I totally understand the Anton Harrison pick because of who was available, and I thought he would be available at that time, and they picked him up. So it made perfect sense. So those are my top dogs of the week, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. For short-term care for your furry-loving friend, call K9 Camp Dog Daycare at 315-437-7110, and to call the Kampground for dog boarding for longer-term care, where every dog gets their own cabin so they can have their own private space. 315-299-4013 for dog boarding at K9 Kampground. Make sure you get in touch with them, both in East Syracuse, and I appreciate y'all for your support of local. And so does Lily. We'll be back after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, a very special Dolphin Dive comes to you featuring Tom Jarry as well as Peter Hatton of the LeMoyne Dolphins men's tennis team on the day of their match. They're in the NCAAs today down at Queens in Flushing, New York. They're taking on Stack, St. Thomas Aquinas College. They played them recently, but this season they have not played them yet. They have an opportunity here today to move on in the NCAA National Postseason. Very excited about this. Their match is at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to LeMoyneDolphins.com for more information on that. And you can go to WakeUpCallDT.com, click on the LeMoyne tab, and we have a link to LeMoyneDolphins.com as well. And there's a link on our homepage if you click on the Dolphin. So make sure that you connect today and pay close attention to the match. And before that, Tom Jarry as well as Peter Hatton joining me from the LeMoyne tennis team right after this fast break. Picture in picture in picture.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Café Cubal needs. Café Cubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for a very special Dolphin Dive in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the LeMoyne College Dolphins. I am here with the LeMoyne College men's tennis team and very proud to have them on the broadcast here. Tom Jarry and Peter Hatton here on the broadcast. Tom, did I do it right? How is
it was perfect.
All right, perfect.
As best as you could.
Thank you. So Tom and Jerry, Tom and Peter on here. Pardon me here. So Tom, I want to start with you here about this season and the NE10 championships. I was out there this past weekend, and it was some adverse conditions, raining a little bit, cold, windy. Would love for you to go into the championship and what you took away from it.
Well, you're talking about the final only?
Just in general, you know, you could talk about doubles and singles, whatever you like.
The whole match. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, we started. Well, it wasn't windy at first, so I think it's best for us when it's normal and not windy and not like this, because I feel like most teams, so like the team we played, they practice outside way more often than we do. We're more an indoor team, I would say. So we started off double playing pretty good. We unfortunately lost a double point, which I think would have helped us get the win at the end.
Yeah.
Because it was really tight. I think we lost 4-2. It could have been 4-3 at the end. And if we got a double point, that would have been 4-3 for us. And the double would have been really important. I think if we were to play them again and it would be inside, that might have been a better turn of event for us. I think we were more prepared to play inside, but it is what it is. And then for singles, yeah, it started to be really, really windy. I know a few of my teammates really hated that, and sometimes it's annoying. It just gets in your head. You know, it's not even about your tennis performance. It's more about how you're gonna react to it mentally. And I think yes, a few of my teammates didn't like it. So some of them managed to play with it and use it in their advantages, and some of them didn't. I think that's what cost us the win in the end. But props to Snookers that even without these conditions, they have really good players anyway, and they're number one. Their number two, I think, was extremely good and beat the player we have, Manny, who I think is his first loss in the regular season. So like that was pretty impressive.
You know, and Peter, for you, I know that in singles you were holding your own as the weather got worse and worse. Bring me into your take on the day from doubles to, your single opportunity out there and navigating through the weather. As Tom said, it's more of how you react to it.
Right. Yeah, we'd obviously know that the doubles point, that's the most important. It's like very, very helpful when you get that 1-0 lead when you're going up against a team like Snow. But I felt like we came out strong. We had our chances. Like me and Manny, we were playing one. I saw Casper and Rodrigo. They were doing well at 3. And then Tom and Ethan had a close match at 2. So we had our break points. We had our chances during the match. I think within the first few games, it was like 1-0 us. We had break point chances. And then around like maybe 3-2, we had a chance again. We had like 2 chances to hold or to break, and then we'd be up by 2, which was really important. But that doubles match, it was not the best for me and Manny. We definitely could have played a little bit better. Definitely on the important points like deuce. We didn't play those very smart. But it was okay. And then after losing the doubles, we got to the singles. We know we had to win 4 matches. So we came out strong. I played their number 1 or number 2 guy, Jesse. He was a solid player, but he was playing a little bit more cautious in the wind.
Yeah.
It came down to like all the important points. I try to win the points more than just play cautious, which I think that allowed me to definitely it was an easier win for me. But yeah, I mean, I was proud of the way I played. I was proud of the way we fought. It was just with those conditions, it was tough for our team because coming from playing indoors all season, we had so much confidence indoors, and then you bring us outside for 2 or 3 matches, it's tough. It's tough to hold on to like that confidence when you have stuff like wind and rain.
I think you were the only one that was able to play like that in the wind. The way you played was just incredible. Everyone else was just trying to put the ball back in, and you were just hitting winners.
I was going for stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely, that mindset I had during that match, that was very helpful when it came to battling the wind. And like just there was times where it wasn't even my fault. It's just like the wind would take over, and then like you kind of lose your head. You're like, what do I do? But I held strong pretty well, especially with our teammates like cheering us on and kind of like telling us how to play smarter, especially during those days where it's windy. Like my Fabian on our team, he helps me usually during the matches. So he helped me like keep my head level and then ultimately get the win for number 1 singles. But yeah, in the end, it was a tough loss.
You reflect on that and you see what you were, what you did in the NE10 to be at the top of the regular season and to go in as the top seed, despite the fact that it came down to singles and it came down to, a few hours in where that loss finally happens and Snu ends up taking the championship. What do you ride on in a positive way, knowing that you were the top seed, knowing how you went into the NE10 championships and that you've advanced into the NCAAs? Peter, I'll start with you. What positives do you take from the season as you get set to go off into the NCAA championships?
I think we had a really strong season. I think we incurred 4 losses. Our last one was the Snow at the end. But we had some really strong performances against some good teams. Like Morgan State was a good win. Colgate again was a good win.
Yeah.
And down the stretch, like every match, we're right there. We're like right in it. We have the chances to win. Usually the doubles point, that's the most important. Like last season, we had the doubles point basically almost every single time we play the match. So it was a lot easier to then win it. But this season, it's been a little bit tougher. But as long as we just have some we just gain some confidence in doubles, and you come out ready to win doubles, then it makes it a lot easier. And then we go to NCAAs, and it'll be a lot easier for us with that doubles win.
Tom, your thoughts on this season leading up to this point, the positives that you're going to take with you heading into the NCAAs?
No, I agree. I think our team is at its strongest right now. Between last year and this year, that's probably the best team I've ever seen. I've been here for like 5 years now, and seeing a team like this is really nice to see. And yeah, the only time we lost were really tough matches. The Queens loss was on me for a small injury. The SNU loss, we had my double partner who couldn't play because of a knee injury. And all of this is against really good teams that bring all of their top players. So a little bit unlucky. And I think if we just get everything, if we just 100% all of us in, I think we have great chances to win. So I'm really confident in my team right now. And just like Peter said, we just need to get a little bit more confident for doubles, and then we'll just try to roll. But we have strong teams to beat now. We have Stack and Queens to beat, but I trust my team to do the best they can.
Luckily, it's inside.
It is inside.
Luckily, it's easier for us.
Yeah, and obviously when it comes to the sport of tennis, it's not hard to see the difference between indoor, outdoor, and the adjustment to that. You gave credit to SNU and said that they have talented players, right? And
they do.
And what they brought to the table was going to be difficult, indoor or outdoor. Did you feel like the team looked different, felt different because it was outside? Did you feel, both teams are playing outside, so it's not like there's a disadvantage on one or the other, but did you feel not like yourselves? Tom, I'll start with you.
Well, for the way I play tennis is just me adapting to what's going on. I'm not like Pete being super confident in my shot and directing every point. I adapt a lot. So for me, playing inside, I trust more the fact that there's no random thing coming into the match. It's just gonna be me, and I'm gonna be able to do exactly what I want when I want it. But that's the only difference. If it's really windy outside, I try to just adapt, and I know it's also hard for my opponent, so I try to use that against my opponent. But we've never seen SNU playing inside. I wish we could see SNU playing inside. I'm sure they're really strong inside as well. But it's just the fact that for us, since it's always like raining when we're supposed to play outside and stuff like that, and I know they practice a lot outside before us. So there's just this small difference for us being more confident inside. But regardless, I'm sure they're really strong out or in. I just want to see, I'm just curious about what would be the result if it was inside.
Peter, you played so well outside, and we talked about the elements and the difference and the change that brings. Yet you were dialed in a way that was aiding this team in moving forward and giving them a chance. It seems like indoor would be everybody's choice, but what were you doing to, like Tom said, adapt to? You looked relatively unfazed when I was watching your match.
Well, I didn't really think about the wind that much because it was blowing, but like the day before we went out and practiced, and it was 3 times as bad, the wind. So like I knew after that practice, I knew the match was going to be a lot easier for me because I know like the wind, if I'm playing confident and like hitting bigger shots, it doesn't really affect it as much, the wind. But I could see my opponent, he was a little bit more worried about the win, trying to play cautious and that stuff. I told myself, I was like, if I just try to beat him more rather than just like play cautious against the wind, I know it'd be a lot better chance for me. That's also how I play my matches usually too. Wind, regardless of the wind, regardless of any conditions, it's like I'm going out there to try to beat the guy rather than I don't even know the other way of playing basically.
Wait, yeah.
Tom's way. I just always try to go out and win, but yeah, I mean, I felt good the whole match. I didn't think it would result in a loss, but Snoo also played very well at the end when it came down to the last two matches. The guy that beat Casper, he played really strong the last set, which is basically what you have to do if you want to win in such tough conditions. So he held himself pretty well in the third set, and then that resulted in our loss. But it was a good effort by us, so there's no reason we shouldn't be confident going into the indoor championship this week.
And that's the thing going off of that, as we're hearing this special edition of Dolphin Dive with Peter and Tom from the LeMoyne College men's tennis team as they get set for the NCAA championships. Peter, I want to go to you first with this, and Tom, I want to get your thoughts as well. When it came down to Rod and Casper and just what they were able to do, I mean, Rod had a Hail Mary chasing it down, great, chased it, got under it, knocked it over his head, flew up in the air, got over the net, and gave an opportunity to keep everything alive. I mean, what Rod and Casper did, despite not getting that doubles point in singles, you guys were fighting deep into this thing. So, Peter, I'd love to get your thoughts on your teammates Casper and Rod and what they did in their singles matches.
Well, I'm definitely very impressed with the way Rodrigo's been playing this season because he's a new player, and I could tell he's not been the most confident on the court, but he's fought every single match till the end. And I definitely respect that as a player. Like, he wants our team to win. He wants us to do well. And he knows that he's going to be in a lot of close matches, but he fights all the way through. And then same with Casper. Casper is a very good player. He really doesn't lose much. I've ever seen him lose, but he's just in that match. It's just, I think the wind got to him a little bit because he likes to keep rallying the ball and like placing shots and just be out rallying the opponent to win. But in those windy conditions, you kind of have to play it differently. So that was something that maybe he could have have a different thought process about. But it was still, he was very gritty. Apparently, they told me that the first set he played very strong and then the wind picked up. But yeah, it was a good performance by both of them. They're very good players. And I know coming into next week that they'll be ready inside. And definitely Casper. I know Casper wants some revenge against Queens. I know that.
Tom, your thoughts on the play of Rodrigo as well as Casper down the stretch here in the NE10 championships, and what your teammate Peter just brought up when you look back at the schedule here and know that Queens is going to be hosting where you'll be in this NCAA championship opportunity against St. Thomas Aquinas this Friday, April 28th at 2:15 p.m. Eastern time in Flushing, but that Queens was also on your board in the regular season in a non-conference matchup in a 4-2 match loss. So I'd love to get your thoughts on Rod as well as Casper recently, and knowing that Queens could be back on the schedule if you guys take care of business.
Hopefully we will. I hope to reflect on I think it's not just Rod and Casper. I think the whole team. I've never seen I've seen a lot of players, tanking and not believing and just not caring because it's not, you don't play for you play for your school, right? But seeing my teammates, they gave everything they have. Even if Casper lost in 3 sets, he gave everything. The last point, he just fought hard. The guy went to the net, played amazing shots. Props to the guy from Snoo, really, really good match. But even if we lost, I'm still very proud of Casper for just fighting until the end. And same for Rodrigo, who went to the tiebreak, the last set, just running around, trying to just put as much ball as he could, playing against in these really hard conditions. So like, I'm very impressed by the mentality that the whole team have, and I think if we just gain a little bit confidence, then that's the only step we're missing. But mentally, everyone is just fighting hard and believing and playing as hard as they can for the team. So I'm very proud of the team for that. And then for Stack and Queens coming on, we didn't play Stack this year. I'm not sure how many more people they have. I'm not sure if they have more players than last year. I think the last time we played them was regional final last year. So I don't really want to say anything. I don't know the players they're gonna have. I just trust my team to give us that win and help us play Queens again and get a revenge indoor. I think we're gonna do some little switches so that players don't play the same exact player again, and see what we can do there. But yeah, I'm very proud of my team being so confident and giving everything they have, regardless of the win or the lose.
And Tom, you come to us from France. Why LeMoyne? What led you here to give? Like you said, you don't play for yourself; you play for your team. So why LeMoyne? Why become a Dolphin?
I didn't choose. Okay, I don't have the perfect answer for this. So I transferred here. I was in Georgia beforehand.
Yeah.
I had a team that is now very strong. I checked what they're doing now. They're very strong. But at the time I was there, it was not as strong as it is now. And I felt like, regardless of me doing my best and getting matches, we would lose a lot. And I needed to find a team that would have players that want to go and reach the win, that wants to I have a coach that want to chase that win. So I decided to transfer, and being an indoor player, I tried to go more north, and I chose New York. So I asked the people that were helping me find a school. I asked them to only select schools in New York, and then once I got the offer from LeMoyne, I had our coach that immediately reached out to me. Had a great talk with him on the phone. Literally told me exactly who I was going to play with in doubles, where I was going to play in singles, who I was going to play against. Gave me all the details. Made me really be part of the team even before I committed. So I trusted him there, and I'm very proud of trusting him when he gave me that call.
I love that, and I appreciate that for sure in your connection to LeMoyne. Peter, you are from Central New York, played at JD, here in Syracuse, then went to Army West Point and found your way back. How did this road come about where you left home and here you are again?
Well, I was at West Point my first semester, and by, I think, November or October, I knew I wasn't going to stay there, definitely more than a year. So I started reaching out to schools, just to see what schools I would be able to play for. And then I talked to Jeff because I've known him for a while. He's been a player around here. I know him from the tennis community. And he told me that if I came to LeMoyne, I could play tennis and golf. He could talk to the golf coach. And that got me excited because I like playing golf too. I played golf in high school. That was fun. And then, yeah, he gave me a good opportunity to go to LeMoyne. And I never realized how strong our team would be, because West Point, we had a strong team, but as long as I was playing still at a high level, I was okay with it. And then I came into LeMoyne in the second semester last year, and we went 22-0 in the spring. So that was a great confidence booster for me, knowing that I was playing for a team that knew how to win. And then on top of that, we got to go to Florida, which was awesome. So I felt like I made an awesome choice to transfer to LeMoyne. And then I got an opportunity to play golf in the fall this year. So it's been very busy, but I've enjoyed all of it. I've enjoyed all the practices we've had as teams, all the matches we've went to. It's been very fun.
Well, we're going to do two things to finish up this Dolphin dive here with LeMoyne Dolphins men's tennis team, Tom Jarry and Peter Hatton. So we're going to have you both say something nice about each other, which is going to be fun here in a second. And then we're going to get into rapid fire where we get to put each other on the hot seat. And we can talk about tennis or talk about anything, music, movies, food, anything we want. We're going to have a good time with this. So, Tom, tell me something good about Peter.
Well, first of all, he's very good looking, obviously. And then, I mean, if you talk about tennis, I think he's way better than me, and I think he's probably one of the best players in the region. He reached semifinals of the regional last year. I think he had a match that he was very tired and couldn't find a solution, but I think overall he's probably the best player in the region, and I hope he will be able to prove it in the 2 years or 3 years he have left here. I wish him all the best. I know he's gonna beat all of the records I have here, all the singles win, doubles win, whatever. You're probably gonna get all of that, and hopefully you'll get the regionals as well. But realistically, I've never seen someone hit a return so hard in my life.
Those are some big words to respond to, Peter, but tell me something good about Tom.
I mean, Tom's also pretty good looking, I'd say. He's a good, decent looking man. But no, Tom, I've definitely, when I first came in here, I saw him kind of as a mentor because he was a captain of our team, and I knew he was one of the older ones. But I definitely looked up to him, and I respected all the way he was a captain for our team and made sure we all stayed together. We're all friends. And yeah, like, I've thought that throughout these last 2 seasons that like I could just be kind of my own way because I commute. I don't live at the school, so I was like, I don't really have to like communicate with a lot of people at school. But it's been really fun. Like Tom and Ethan, they've made it so fun to be on this tennis team, and then just enjoying it with them has been awesome.
I appreciate that. Some nice words coming from you both. I'm sure Coach Jeff Lonzak will appreciate that as well. We're going to play our rapid fire now. We're going to go around the clock and back. So, Peter, you ask me a question. I'll ask Tom. Tom will ask you, and then we'll go back. So what's your question for me, Peter?
My question is, how long have you been doing this thing for LeMoyne with this partnership?
It's going on 2 full calendar years. And so we've had the opportunity to do what I created called an exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, where we cover every sport and we try to reach out to the community and build a bridge between every sport, student athletes, alumni, administration, the athletics director, the president, as well as the coaches and the leaders on the Heights. So it's been very rewarding to be able to do this. And I can honestly say there's not a ton of people that I would go out and stand in the rain 30. I thought it was going to snow over the weekend weather, but it's not the first time I've been at Skytop for LeMoyne Tennis. It won't be the last. And it was definitely worth every second of it. So, I love what I do, but yeah, we started almost 2 years ago.
Nice.
So, all right, Tomo, I'll go to you for this one. All right. Well, I know nothing about France except for what we're supposed to know, right? So the typical things that everybody stares at and whatnot. So if you brought me to France, where would you take me that is truly a unique and memorable experience that I could share with people beyond the Eiffel Tower and what everybody knows?
Oh, I'll never bring you to the Eiffel Tower.
Thank you.
Do you know the French Riviera? It's
I've
in the
heard
south.
of
You've heard of it?
Yeah.
South of France? Yeah, I'll probably bring you to French Riviera, and I'm thinking about Cannes. Have you heard about the festival of Cannes?
No.
Like the red carpet and everything?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll probably bring you there. A lot of good beaches and landscapes and all of that. Very, very pretty.
My one B to that is, what is the best food, in your opinion, that is from France?
Can I choose red wine instead of food?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say red wine, and you take some red wine with a nice charcuterie and cheese board, and you're all set. And a nice baguette.
Fair enough. Tom, what's your question for Peter?
Let's do, what do you enjoy playing the most, golf or tennis?
Oof. Well, I definitely enjoy winning in tennis. That's always fun. But I like the challenge in golf. It's very up and down. Like, I just came back from the range today, and I basically, like, I don't really get how I played that well in the fall, because nothing feels the same. That's how easy it is just to flip the switch with golf. But I like the challenge. It's hard for me because I haven't practiced it my whole life. I basically taught myself in high school. But I mean, since then, it's been awesome that I've been able to play in college for golf. That's always a great thing that I'm proud of myself for.
All right, Peter, back to Tom. What do you got for him?
All right. We're gonna go back to something in France. What's the number one bakery food in France? Like, if you go to a bakery, what do you
That's what
get?
I was going for. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I want to know.
Well, you won't know. You've probably heard of all the basic things, no?
Like croissant du chocolat,
Croissant du chocolat? No, it's croissant, and then you have another thing called pain au chocolat.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Croissant.
Okay, those are really good. But I usually go for it's called Switzerland bread. It's just like a pain au chocolat, but with chocolate everywhere, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And then some mascarpone, like cream cheese and butter, and it's just amazing altogether.
It does sound nice.
But if you just walk in a bakery in France, it's just, you just want to try everything. You just want to eat it all.
Is the grenadine good there?
Grenadine? What is this?
Grenadine? I had it in like French
Jarry
class
sauce.
during high school. They give us
Isn't it like a syrup and water? No?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. Tom, what's your question for me?
Whoa. How did you meet Jeff?
How did I meet Jeff? So it was through the partnership. So through doing this, and I'm trying to remember we had talked, but actually the first time I met him face to face, I went to a match in the first year of working with LeMoyne, and I was up at Skytop, and he came out towards the end, and I was surprised at how just kind of, just open and communicative he was, because not every coach, always gives you that. And I've talked to coaches like all around the country, and he came up and he loves the NFL. So we were talking about tennis, we were talking about football, and we were just having a good time. And it was really cold that day. I think it was like 30 degrees that day. And we just stood there talking about football. And he said, "I really appreciate you coming up. And it means a lot to me." And I just remember from him that he was super humble, super kind, very appreciative, just a really nice guy who seemed to appreciate people taking an interest in things that matter to him. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, after that, I was just like, man, I want to come up and hang out with this guy all the time. And we've talked a lot since then, which has been a lot of fun. So,
nice.
All
right.
right.
So you've traveled the country. Is it only for tennis, or do you do any other sports?
So I've gotten to travel and speak with coaches and student athletes, professional athletes, be it virtually or on the road. And it's everything. I think on Wake Up Call, we've done, I'm probably going to miss something, but we've done tennis, lacrosse, bowling, crew, golf, volleyball, basketball, football, softball, baseball. I think I said soccer, but soccer, Yeah, I mean, pretty much every sport that I can think of. I don't think we haven't done parasailing yet, and we haven't done croquet, but maybe someday with those. So yeah, we've been able to travel all around and do that, which has been awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
Peter. All right, Peter. Well, since Tom is the international one on the screen right now, Peter, you get to plan a trip. The three of us are going on this trip. Because there's three of us, you could pick 3 countries that we're going to. Where are we going and why? And you can't pick France because Tom's from there.
Okay. Number one, I traveled to Brazil last year, which was a lot of fun. So that's definitely on there.
Okay.
They got beautiful mountains and beaches there.
You choose a country that you've already been to?
Yep. Would love to go back there.
All right. Brazil.
Maybe Australia. Australia sounds like a fun country.
Good rainforest out there.
We're Shavi from Australia on our team. Australia seems, from the pictures I've seen,
Crazy.
seems like a very beautiful country.
Yep.
And maybe bring it to like Switzerland. Do a little bit of skiing in Switzerland.
Okay.
That sounds like fun. Up in the Alps.
I like that. Switzerland. That's Switzerland, Australia, and Brazil. 3 places that I would like to go to. And I've actually worked with, when I worked down at Disney in Florida, I worked with a lot of Brazilians, and I got to learn some Portuguese, which was fun.
Nice.
So, yeah, I know Spanish, but Portuguese, I know a few words. I know some words that sound like beautiful words, and they mean absolutely nothing. So I said, tell me words that I could take a girl out to a candlelit dinner, say this to her, and it sounds like I love you. And so one of the I call it a phrase when people don't know, but it's geladeira. And if you say it the right way, and you say it in like a romantic setting, it sounds like I love you or something good. It means refrigerator. So
I thought you meant I have diarrhea. I heard I have diarrhea.
Yeah, so geladeira. But so with that being said, Tom Jarry, as well as Peter Hatton here from the LeMoyne Dolphins men's tennis team in this edition of the Dolphin Dive Picture in Picture. Gentlemen, good luck as you go into your NCAA championships. I will be watching from afar, hoping that you get another crack at Queens, and can't wait to see what's going to come up next. And thank you so much for your representation of LeMoyne, Central and Upstate New York, and the fight that you guys have had. It was awesome to come out and see you in the NE10 championships, and I hope there's more to come.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicoli's.com. That's myaviccollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to K9 Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, here where sports meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here and can't thank you enough for being a part of the show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're with us on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So I definitely appreciate you being with us all around Central and Upstate New York, the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and all around this beautiful globe that we call our home, thanks to God. So thanks for being with us in all ways. And I definitely appreciate everybody that goes to find us in the many, many places where we're archived on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these outlets, or on Wake Up Call D. So you search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the name of the show, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on any one of these outlets, and you'll be able to pick up our show. Make sure you subscribe, follow, bookmark, and save us so that you'll always know when it gets updated and you can get new shows. Thanks to our incredible partners of Cafe Kubal, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, Ma & Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, so Great Lakes Honda City right there in Liverpool, New York, Chick-fil-A Watertown, K9 Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's Pizza Man, 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the restaurant is also the name of their location, which is 317 Montgomery Street in downtown Syracuse. Make sure you head out to the 5-star Michelin restaurant. That's what I call it. It's fantastic. So don't miss a moment
of heading out to 317 at Montgomery Street for lunch, dinner, and drinks. And as always, drink responsibly. And a big time thank you to Mother's Cupboard, where I've been a couple times this week. And if you go to our social media, if you go to Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, and on youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT, you'll get my newest From Mother's Cupboard to Table special that we do exclusively on site at Mother's Cupboard at 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York. And this is Coach Hicks and I. Coach Hicks returning to the field, returning to the sidelines at Syracuse University with the football team. So we speak on his return, spring practice, his takeaways, offensive coordinator Jason Beck, defensive coordinator Rocky Long, Dino Babers, the atmosphere around the Syracuse program, a message to the fans, the NFL draft with the Syracuse players that are in it, and more, all in one conversation from Mother's Cupboard. So don't miss out on seeing Coach Hicks and I in our newest conversation, which is now airing on all of our social media platforms as well as youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. We are also the proud, exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your LeMoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And you can catch AD and DT the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We have an AD and DT you do not want to miss. Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, a.k.a. DT, joining you in the first week of May. Coming up here on May 3rd. You do not want to miss that broadcast. Every first and third Wednesday of each month with AD and DT. Every second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with the Dolphin Dive. Diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. Under promise, over deliver. We have given you many, many Dolphin Dives just here in April alone, and we appreciate you diving with us into these stories of these incredible people on the Heights. You can catch all of our coverage of LeMoyne on the LeMoyne page on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, and as always, Fins Up. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bryan and Stratton Bobcats coming to you exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So grateful for the opportunity to share this with you and to share the stories of the wonderful, wonderful Bobcats, men's and women's basketball teams, men's and women's soccer, and their inaugural season of their baseball team, making history with the team. And I just thank them for letting me be along for the ride. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Bryan and Stratton. You can catch all of our content on the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by going and subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and searching Bobcat Buzz. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And as always, let's go Bobcats. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we got some things that came in here. Ross said, have a great show. Thank you, brother. Greg said, before I head out for the day, want to highlight this point. Despite not being drafted on day one, Will Levis certainly did make an impact on TV with his harem of ladies. Yeah, I feel like that felt a little staged. It felt a little staged to me. It felt very much like draft day and that quarterback that wasn't getting picked. Then he went on to say, one more thing, the Steelers absolutely made an unbelievable move to snipe the Jets from their offensive tackle pick. Then, in my opinion, the Jets tilted. Will Anderson went to the Texans. Yeah, I had Will Anderson going to the Texans. So, yep, had Will Anderson, edge rusher, going to the Texans. Or, pardon me, Will Anderson with the Cardinals with that third overall pick that they drafted. So, Will Anderson could have went to the Texans at number 2, and the Cardinals ended up picking him up. And then the Cardinals traded back in to the first round. They had the 3rd pick. They traded back in to get the 6th pick, which was crazy there in what they did. But, listen, they wanted their guy. So, pretty interesting here for sure. And definitely cool seeing all this. and the Will Anderson trade going third overall. With C.J. Stroud, they got him second. And then with the Arizona Cardinals in that deal, and Will Anderson still went third. So interesting there to see, listen, and I thought, and I literally said, at second overall, the Texans are either going to take quarterback C.J. Stroud or edge rusher Will Anderson Jr. And now they got both. Crazy. And Will Anderson did get selected third overall. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out with us on the broadcast. Next week is going to be unique. So next week, we got a bunch of specials airing for you. Doctor's orders. I got to take care of myself. So I did not leave you empty-handed by any stretch of the imagination. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora will be bringing you specials with Anson Mount, a well-known actor whose father used to write for Playboy as their sports writer and was really good at predicting football games. Anson Mount, the actor who played Black Bolt in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and in the TV show on ABC Inhumans, as well as Hell on Wheels, and has been in Star Trek and so many other projects. Anson Mount, a Tennessee Titans fan, will be joining me for a special broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora next week. You're also going to get that AD&DT that I'm telling you do not want to miss. Update on realignment, reclassification, exclusive to Wake Up Call with Bob Beretta, the athletics director of LeMoyne College. So we'll get into that. Anson Mount, as I said, so excited for those specials. And we have a bunch more coming up. I got a special with Adam Dudzinski, who won a New York State championship as a member of the West Genesee Wildcats boys basketball team. He's transferring. We're going to do a story on that. We're going to have an opportunity to share that story with you, which I'm very much looking forward to. So Duds will be joining the show as well. So many great things coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. You do not want to miss a second of it. So a lot of great things coming up here on the broadcast. Very much looking forward to it. Lisa Campos, the VP for Intercollegiate Athletics that oversees all of the athletics at UTSA for the Roadrunners. She'll be joining me a couple months away from the school officially joining the American Athletic Conference. I'm also going to be joined by Joe Carlgard, who's going to be on the show, who is the Rice University Owls Director of Athletics, Recreation, and Lifetime Fitness. He's going to be joining the show a couple months before his school joins the American Athletic Conference. So a lot of great stuff coming up with that, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing all of this with you. So a lot of great things here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. And we're also going to be joined by Joyce Reap and Laurel Flanagan. Joyce Reap, chairperson of Syracuse Crawfish Festival, and Laurel Flanagan, the CEO of Operation Northern Comfort. They're going to be joining me at the beginning of the week to talk about what's coming up at the end of the week, which is the Syracuse Crawfish Festival. So a lot of great specials set up for you while I'm away, and I cannot wait to share every single one of them with you. So Wake Up Call will be jam-packed this coming week, and I can't wait to share that with you. Brought to you by all of our proud partners, and many thanks to each and every single one of them. Big thanks to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week, and to those crazy people in dating for giving us many things to talk about. And lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Big thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Continued prayers for Jimmer Sikowski, one of my best friends, and somebody who needs them, and someone who always gives them. So bless you, Jimmer, and to all your family as well. Top Dog of the Week, big thanks to K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. Thanks to the Jets and the Jaguars for giving me top dogs to honor this week. Get a little update on the NFL draft as well, and we'll have plenty to talk about today and tomorrow as I'll continue to cover the draft. And so you got to stay close to all of our social media so you don't miss my little mini shows that might pop up here and there on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And also much love and many thanks to the LeMoyne College Dolphins as always. And a big-time shout-out to Tom Jarry as well as Peter Hatton for joining me from the LeMoyne College Dolphins men's tennis team, who are playing in the NCAAs in the postseason down in Flushing, New York today. The match begins at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, as well as the LeMoyne page on WakeUpCallDT.com. And I can't wait to pay attention to that match. God willing, they will, hopefully they'll move on, and we'll get to see them. May the best team win against Stack and LeMoyne, and hopefully LeMoyne will be joining me down in Florida. So very excited for that. Thanks to Tom and Peter, and as always, thanks to Coach Jeff Lonzak. Thanks to all my guests this week. God bless to you all. Much appreciation. And as always, God bless, no stress. Do your best. You'll catch a ton of great specials that I've lined up for you next week, and I'll see you soon. Be well, and take care.